News First Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And a jolly good morning to you. This is Newsline, live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And actually, today is a considerably better day. It's not wet, it was quite pleasant actually. And to make the day even more pleasant, we have with us that inimitable legal personality, former diplomat, and fast becoming some sort of public interest activist. And I'm of course talking of none other than Mr. Hemantha Warnakulasuriya. Good morning to you, Mr. Warnakulasuriya.
Good morning, Bharat. Good morning, Bharat.
Are you giving up your practice?
No, when the way in which these things are happening,
Yeah.
I believe I must give up my practice. But then I have got so much of confidence in the judiciary of this country, so that is the thing that keeps me going.
It does it? Well, we have a clip about corruption that I found rather interesting, and I thought we might want to play that clip once it's ready. Apparently it's not ready yet, but when it is, we'll play that. Now then, Hemantha, what is all this business? What is your stand as a senior lawyer?
Yeah.
I understand that you've kind of changed your mind.
Yeah.
On the matter of the Commission of Inquiry.
One of the greatest lawyers that Sri Lanka has produced, H.V. Pereira, once argued a case before the Supreme Court against his own judgment, against his own theory, in which the judges have written judgment. He said that having read the brief again, I find that I was wrong. And this is my new version, new interpretation of this section, and the Supreme Court laughed and accepted that section. Here in the studios before you, and in the Singapore from Davasa, I said the order of the learned commissioners inquiring into the Bond Commission was perfect, was fair, and it cannot be impeached. I have then after that, having heard my submissions before you, a certain important officials in the Treasury Department spoke to me and told me, "Sir, you're a senior attorney at law. Why did you go and make representations without studying, perusing the facts?" I was rather shocked. I said, "Surely, Mr. So-and-so, every person that is summoned before a commission has the right to remain silent, because he can be implicated. He's already implicated. So isn't that the right that is enshrined and given protection to an accused to remain silent? And the commissioners can draw any inference." He said, "No, sir, you're wrong. He is not an accused before any court. He is not a suspect before any magistrate." So
but he has a legitimate expectation that he may well be.
Yes, that's right. So legitimate expectation does not deprive a person from answering the questions before a commission, because it is paramount that Arjuna Aloysius gives evidence, so that there are so many other things to be unraveled before the commission by evidence. Now, for instance, the telephone conversations which the department, the CID, I must commend some of the officers who work in the CID, has been able to unearth the various conversations which have been deleted.
You're digging this in for yourself further and further by saying all this, because the more you speak like this and give us these facts which the public knows about, the more and more you say this, it appears to me that Mr. Aloysius and Mr. Mahendran appear to be falling into this second category of persons referred to in Section 16 of the 1948
He has
Act.
not been named as suspect. Now the second category is where a person now in Alutatramodari Commission, there were suspects.
Yes, but no, in this case it says any person who is implicated.
No, they were brought as there is not a single person named. Even if he is named for us, there is Section 14. Now, can you kindly play Section 14 and Section 14A?
Section 14
of the Commissions of Inquiry Act as amended by 2008.
Right. Yes, let's play that. Section 14A.
14 and 14A, yeah.
14, 14.
Now I read that. Section 14 has a special immunity clause which has been invoked by the President in the Bond Commission 2, the warrant of appointment of the Commission. Section 14A says, no person shall in respect of any evidence written or oral by that person to or before the Commission of Inquiry be liable to any prosecution or other proceedings in other civil or criminal court. So the Commission of Inquiry 2008 has brought in the special immunity clause to prevent any person who gives evidence before the Commission, whether he named or not, and what he gives, any evidence that he states cannot be used against him in a criminal proceeding.
So there you go then, the whole purpose of this commission.
No, that is wrong. What the commission, but the section 14 says that you can't use that evidence, but that doesn't prevent them from investigating, carrying out another investigation and getting this recorded, and has no reference to the evidence that is being given commission. Here, the Commission of Inquiry is only inquiring into this biggest scam that Sri Lanka has ever witnessed, where I believe number of politicians in the government is involved, and this kind of order prevents Arjuna Aloysius from giving evidence and disclosing those facts. Everything that he discloses against others is admissible evidence. Now, if he says RW is Rosamala or Rosa, now that means
RW is the leader of the Flowered Club.
Flowered Club, something. Then RK is something, somebody. Now, all these telephone conversations which have been retrieved, which have been admitted by Palisena. Palisena says, yes, he gave this information, and when Palisena was asked, he says, ask Arjuna Aloysius. Right?
There you go, he's named.
No, so Arjuna
so he's implicated now.
No, he's not implicated. You do not. This person has not been named. So obviously, there are people who implicate everyone. So what Palisena said cannot be used against him, but can be used against Arjuna Aloysius. Arjuna Aloysius comes and says RW so and so. Now, that cannot be used against him, can be used against the person named. So therefore, the whole process will be stalled. Every person after this who has a suspicion or legitimate expectation that he be charged, can say, I am hiding behind this judgment, and therefore I don't want to give evidence. The whole thing, the people of this country, one of the greatest achievements of the Japan government and the expectation of people of this country was to expose this huge corruption scandal, and the Japan government, thanks to Mr. Maitripala Sirisena, thanks to the President of the country, appointed a commission to inquire into this. Now, then the way in which the Attorney General acted, way that Mr. Dappulevera, Jasanta Kodagada, Birinda Gudathilak and others acted, way that the CID acted, people repose confidence in a system which has been broken to shambles by the previous regime. Now, if for some reason, if the judges either by misconstruing the law of the land, it makes an order like this is going to affect not only this commission, against any future commissions in the future. So therefore, I believe it is the duty of the Attorney General. Now we believe the Attorney General is acting very, very independently, and his team, one of the best teams that have been put forward, cream of the department is in this commission. About 8 officers are working. Now the AG department should appeal, should revise this order of the commissioners. If not, if they don't do that, it is up to the civil society, people who are interested in the commission, is to challenge this in another forum and get the correct legal procedure adopted. Because the AG seemed to think that the commissioners were completely wrong. They applied principles of criminal law which are no application.
Let's invite our listeners, our viewers, to send in their questions. I've already got a few here.
Yeah.
And the number to do that right here is 0772 300 305. And our producer will play that card now, put it up on your screen. 0772 300 305. First question. So, if they get all the strongest evidence against them into the commission, then it can't be used against them?
No.
Sounds like a get-out-of-jail-free card.
No, you misunderstood. The evidence that are being collected by others is admissible.
Right.
Only if I say yes, I'm guilty of the bond scam, that evidence will not be admissible in a court of law. That only that. But that doesn't prevent the police, the CID from investigating and recording a statement and making him an accused person.
Apparently they've already recorded statements.
No, that is the commission. You must understand, any person who gives a statement orally or in writing is not admissible. So what is admissible is on the basis of this inquiry, on the basis of what the revelations, the Attorney General can start an independent investigation onto the whole thing. Then that investigation, whatever that is revealed by the commission, now what Kasun Padisena says is admissible against everyone else, not against him. So therefore, that is the way in which this commission works, because 2008 amendment.
So why is he lying then? Why is he being caught lying several times?
Who? Yeah, he's a liar. But I'm trying to say,
I mean, the judges make it believable.
Yeah, I believe he should be charged with contempt of court. He's lying. I know why they are not doing it. But Kasun Padisena and the others that disclose certain information about certain people will be used, can be used, but not against himself. My position is that this is not a question of getting out of jail. This is the way in which the commission operates, because the commissioners want to extract every ounce of truth, every ounce of information that could be got, that could be revealed by witnesses, so that independent investigation is on the recommendation or independent by the AG under Section 24 can file a criminal case. Now, this also I feel that in this
Nadine, whilst you're going on about this thing, and to underscore the urgency of addressing this entire scandal, this scam, Bondgate, it'd be interesting to listen to what Partali Champika Ranamukha had to say yesterday.
The EPF and ETF scam, the Entrust scam. When you look into these scams, they are not small figures. These scams are worth 12 billion. This is an amazing country. A little girl was sent to remand prison for a month for stealing 8 coconuts. A school principal was sent to prison for 8 years because she accepted a bribe of 25,000 rupees. However, what happens when you steal 12 billion? The individual who stole 2.5 billion rupees from the EPF of 18,000 CEB employees was released in 2 days. If the people don't feel that justice is done through the law, they will lose faith in it. Courts being independent is not enough. They should be efficient and impartial. Everyone should be able to clearly see that justice is being meted out. The people who stole from the EPF of the CEB are free today. They have bought horses worth millions. They have purchased helicopters. Justice has not been done. I am saddened about the legal process in the country. What is the message that it gives? It says that if you are going to be corrupt, don't take small amounts of 25,000 or 50,000. You have to deal with millions and billions. What happened to the bond scam that shook the entire nation? The chief suspect, who should have been brought to the coalface and tried, has been allowed to stay silent without giving a statement. The 9% interest rates rose to 14% because of the bond scam. In addition to the money they stole, they are causing an annual loss to the government of 95 billion rupees. The impact on the economy is worth trillions. However, these individuals walk away from all this because of the legal points brought out by lawyers who rake in millions. They say that back then, a son of the royal family spent millions to send a satellite named SupremeSat into orbit. They took money from the CEB for this purpose, a total of 460 million. I lodged a complaint and the case is being heard. I have no idea when justice will be meted out. They did this scam under the guise of importing coal. We were able to arrest some of the people involved in the scam, but since they had stolen a lot, they were released in a few days.
Now then, the chief suspect, who should have been brought to the Goldface Green and tried, has been allowed to stay silent without giving a statement. Is that what is upsetting you?
Yeah, precisely. Mr. Ranawaka must understand the chief suspect did not rob this money alone. He robbed this money with the help of his father-in-law and with the help of politicians. Mr. Ranawaka is in that government. So why can't he bring a vote of no confidence against those so-called politicians who have been named?
Name them.
You just go and expose and say corruption and 2 you do nothing about it. Has he ever mentioned to the people, to the world, who are the politicians? So everybody knows. Everybody knows why the money was robbed. So therefore, my position, these are just idle talk of politicians who just want to get your vote. Don't be deceived. I say the entire process, the entire order of the commissions were wrong. They misconceived the concept of criminal law, conceived the concept of criminal law to remain silent, which is only when the indictment is filed, which is there only when a suspect is brought before court, not before a commission inquiry. As I pointed out, Section 4, as I pointed by my friend in the department, Section 14A clearly emphasizes the immunity from what he says, but that doesn't mean that you can be prosecuted. Don't misunderstand me. Information, why they pleaded with the commissioners is that they have to ask him certain questions in order to unravel the mystery of the telephone conversation, mystery of people who are involved, and 8,000 pages of telephone conversations, where number, obviously, everybody knows these connotes. And what has Mr. Partner Champaka done? Nothing. He is only talking.
Well, at least he's talking and bringing it.
Nobody is talking. Everybody is talking.
No, but at least he's keeping it alive.
He feels that he can have an advantage with others, but he must take initiative. He must take a stand and say, these people who robbed the government, robbed the poor people of the EPF should be exposed. And then he must even think of resigning from the government or bringing about a new government, not to remain in the same government and not to share the spoils with them and then try to blame them.
I don't believe he's sharing the spoils.
No, not sharing the spoils. Not sharing. I mean, sharing the same cabinet, not spoils. Sorry, sharing the same views. But he must take a stand. Then only people respect him. My position is also yes. The Attorney General has a duty here. Attorney General Faraz has gone into this commission as they have been invited by the commissioners. But Section 24 states, notwithstanding anything to the contrary in the Code of Criminal Procedure Act, it shall be lawful for the Attorney General to institute criminal proceedings in respect of any offence based on material collected by the course of investigation. Or inquiry, for both investigating inquiry as the case may be, Commissioner of Inquiry is appointed under that. So therefore, now it is up to the Attorney General. Attorney General also can enter the commission, as the Attorney General, and then Attorney General has the right to call evidence, right to examine witnesses. So therefore, the Attorney General now could go and tell the Commission that there are 4 or 5 state councils who will assist the Commission, but we will have to question Arjun Aloysius. They can do that. At the same time, the Attorney General must invoke criminal proceedings, initiate criminal proceedings. I have been telling this from the very beginning that they must be arrested. Even if they are not arrested, they can file a B report in the magistrate's court, prevent them from going. Now today, yesterday, 2 days ago, they have confessed that they are incriminated in this case. Arjun Aloysius. Now what happens if he runs away, if he goes abroad and doesn't come back? What about the Singaporean citizen? What about others?
Yes. But being a Singaporean citizen
Yeah.
doesn't stop you from being accountable to the laws of this country and so on. Anyway, there are 3 questions here.
Yeah.
What, in your opinion, is the likely timeline to the point where monies robbed through this financial genocide could be recovered?
Yeah, that is precisely. There are 2 courses of action. Milinda Gunathilaka, when the report was sent to the Attorney General, decided that they must file civil action to recover the money. Recovering the money is a civil action, but then there is also the possibility of recovering money by way of fines. I mean, at least part of the money.
Yeah, what's the central bank doing, twiddling their thumbs in this matter?
Yeah.
Is there a possibility that the EPF members can file a complaint against the robbers?
I believe they can. They can already. I am told already there's a complaint in which the investigation will be carried out. But the Attorney General must not be cowed down by this kind of MPs who do not have the basic qualification of the GC ordinary level. They call him Tamusan, they call him the ridicule department. They must stand up, because the Attorney General of this country has now been elevated to a position that the entire country and the entire world is watching him as a very, very independent person. He must start, initiate criminal proceedings, get all these people before to court, prevent him from at least going abroad and taking refuge.
You mean place some travel restrictions.
Yeah.
Can you ask Mr. Surya? Yes, I can. As there appears to be sufficient evidence that has been revealed at the Commission, why not the AG start indicting some of those responsible without waiting for the Commissioner's recommendation? After all, it is only very rarely that Commissions are appointed.
Yeah, I say that I am totally in agreement with the concerns. AG need not wait till the end of the Commission. AG has all the evidence that is there, which is ample enough, which is evidence to charge. I mean, before even indict them, bring information to the magistrate's court, take certain precautions, release them on bail or remand them, but prevent them from going abroad. Then file indictment. AG need not wait till the Commission inquiry is over. My position, I will say, I appeared in the Ladit Tatra of the Commission. When the Ladit Tatra Commission started recording evidence, AG arrested about 10 people, brought them to court and remanded them. And that's of course a false, fabricated commission which brought the esteem of the entire judicial.
We don't want those things to happen again.
Yeah.
Now here you go, another question. Is the so far fair elections commissioner also into politics now? Well, that's about politics. And how long can the Presidential Commission go on? Is the government dragging this issue since the people are getting impatient?
No, I don't think the government is dragging the issue. I'm on the commissioner. Do you know the amount of time the AG's department based on this? They spend sometimes, they sleep till, they do not sleep at all. And though the other lawyers make millions, that is true, but the AG's department is doing a very great service for nothing, just for the pay, just to protect your money from robbers present and in the future. If the AG's department act like this, no one will dare to commit robbery like this.
What can you do now?
I believe the civil society has a responsibility. The AG for some reason do not want to appeal on this matter. They must file an application to the Supreme Court. The question of locus standi, I believe, can be addressed, and then they must try to revise, because the entire commission, they will come to an halt. What about the other commission? There are the High Court judges are sitting. Everybody will come there before them. Everybody, the Rajapaksa family, anybody come and say, I don't want to say anything because I may be implicated. That is the end of the whole process. I mean, they are ridiculous. So therefore, it is the duty of the AG department, I say, if not the duty of the civil society, who have been for the last so many years, including your channel, including the paper like Sunday Times, they must go before the Supreme Court and try to challenge it. I think this is a order completely a misconception of the criminal law, which had no application before the Commission's inquiry, where the absolute immunity against any person who is implicated.
Are you able to go and file a claim?
No, that I don't want to discuss professional matters here.
Oh.
But what I'm trying to say is that somebody must do this. We must actually, these are appeal to the AG, revise this order, go before the Supreme Court and revise this order, or the civil society members must think about it and go to the Supreme Court and try to revise this order.
Do you think that Mr. Marapana has been very clever?
Yeah, Marapana has acted on instructions and has gone and made this application.
Instructions from whom?
Instruction from Aloysius, and gone and made this application. And Marapana thought that may have thought that he has some valid point, but I don't think so. My opinion may differ, and Dappura Rivera doesn't think so. Yashwanta Kodagara doesn't think so. AG department and Dappura Rivera said in court, this is the view of the AG. So Attorney General of Sri Lanka is of the view that that order was wrong. So therefore, then what next? Why can't the AG appeal on this matter, or why can't someone, some people who are interested in preventing the politicians robbing this country, at least put some end to this kind of thing, because I think there must be a permanent commission appointed by the President with Supreme Court judges to inquire into corruption of this government.
Strong statements and so on. What are the, in practical terms, what is the likelihood of this being overturned?
I do not know. I have from the little, I have not got the order yet, but as the studies that I have made, I think this is complete misconception. He is not an accused, he is only a concerned person, and he has immunity. What more do you want? The President has invoked the provision of Section 14 and Section 14A in the warrant, so that...
What do your contemporaries say? What do your other colleagues say?
I mean, the entire Halstorf, I said, most of them are aghast by the order. They're simply surprised.
Is that on the basis of the law or on the basis of public interest?
No, based on the law. Based on the law. Public interest is another thing. Based on the law.
You can't have the public interest to override the law.
You can't. But the law is the law, and then that is that.
The law is the law. And Hemant Kulasuri, thank you very much for having been on Newsline. You will obviously now be on Talk of the Town, which is on Yes FM 101. Thank you very much for being here. You've been here since early, haven't you?
Thank you.
And that's about it from Newsline on this wonderful Tuesday morning. Take care and God bless.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukut Ali.